With the presidential campaign underway, American people want to know what the next president is going to do about ISIS. I chose the 6 leading Republican candidates and the top 3 Democratic candidates to inform you on their plans of taking out these vicious terrorists. I will start with the leading presidential candidate, Donald Trump. Monday, November 16th, Mr. Trump focused on national security in a speech to a worried crowd of over 10,000 people. Just days after the terrorist attacks in Paris that sent shockwaves around the world and rippled through the 2016 presidential race. The billionaire has said that he will build a tremendous safe zone for Syrians in Syria rather than letting the Syrian refugees into our country. He also says that he will bomb the blank out of ISIS if he becomes the next president of the United States. Now, if you know Mr. Trump and his way of words, you can fill in the blank as you please. Next is former neurosurgeon Ben Carson. Carson said he will make ISIS look like losers by destroying their territory. He said taking their territory would be fairly easy. He thinks it would be a fairly easy task because he would take the energy fields outside of Iraq from ISIS and make it ours. Carson said that he would also deploy more of what he calls our extremely capable military in Syria and Iraq to fight the members of ISIS. A very confident Marco Rubio stated when he is president, what he will do to defeat ISIL is very simple, whatever it takes. Rubio offered 4 specific proposals for combating the terrorist organization. 1. Stopping the flow of refugees into the U.S. 2. Removing military budget cuts imposed under segregation. 3. Make the U.S. Armed Forces mission total destruction of ISIL, including ground troops. And 4. Maintaining his support for a no-fly zone in Syria. Texas Senator Ted Cruz has a different approach to dealing with ISIS than the other Republican candidates. He believes there should be no American boots on the ground, but that we should rather supply the Kurdish with guns and ammunition. The next candidate is Jeb Bush. Jeb has outlined a specific plan to counter ISIS in Iraq and Syria, arguing that more than 3,500 U.S. troops may be needed. However, he added a major commitment of U.S. soldiers was unnecessary. In his plan, Bush specified that he would give American forward air controls on the ground to help Iraqi forces spot targets for American fighter helicopters and Apache helicopters. Under Jeb's plan, U.S. troops would not just act as trainers but imbued with Iraqi units. Bush also called for the United States to re-engage with Sunni, Shiite, and Kurdish forces to restart diplomatic efforts to unify the country. If I am Commander-in-Chief, the United States will make certain that the Kurds have everything they need to win, Bush said. The final Republican is Carly Fiorina. The former Hewlett Packard CEO has not had much to say about dealing with ISIS lately. She has said that she will call for a meeting with Arab allies to discuss how the United States can help them in the fight against ISIS. The first of the 3 Democratic candidates is the leader of the pack, Hillary Clinton. The former Secretary of State has made it known that she would stick with President Obama's current strategy and keep U.S. troops out of Syria. In an interview with Charlie Rose, co-host of CBS This Morning, Hillary said, "We don't know yet how many special forces such as trainers and surveillance and enablers might be needed, but in terms of thousands of combat troops like some of the Republican candidates' sides are recommending, it should be a non-starter. Both because I don't think it's the smartest way to go after ISIS, and I think it gives ISIS a new recruitment tool if we decide to get back in the fight." The next Democrat is Bernie Sanders. If Mr. Sanders were to become president of the United States, he would attempt at making a new and strong coalition of Western powers, Muslim nations, and countries like Russia to come together in a strongly coordinated way to combat ISIS, to seal the borders that fighters are currently flowing across, to share counterterrorism intelligence, and to turn off the spigot of terrorist financing, and to end support for exporting radical ideologies. The very last candidate for the 2016 presidential race is Martin O'Malley. O'Malley believes that putting boots on the ground would be counterproductive to our desired outcome. The former Maryland governor said, "Containing, degrading, and defeating ISIS will require an integrated approach that is not only focused on military power, but on political solutions." Now I will pass things over to Caitlin for the conclusion of our speech on how the United States will respond to ISIS.